The last big hurdle to overcome, 4 boss cell difficulty. Previously, enemies were getting tougher, there were a couple new types added, and in general there were just more enemies in the game. But 4 boss cell difficulty takes a different approach, adding in a new mechanic that can shut down some otherwise pretty successful builds up to this point. So, although I could just do a very traditional type of run and hope that I can get some good items and good synergies going on, I think instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking a gimmicky type of build, but one that I've had a lot of success with in the past, based entirely around the Spite Sword. Critical hit if you took damage or if you're cursed. Good synergy with taking damage, usually something that you don't want to do in Dead Cells, especially as you get less and less healing over time. But with the right mutation setup, stuff like adrenaline, being able to work with the big crits that you're getting to make that fraction of a health you heal when you get it active turn out to be way more than you'd expect, especially by endgame, as well as just some like curse synergies like acceptance and alienation. This is maybe a little bit risky of a run, but one that can be very safe by endgame, even in the unusual circumstances that I'm about to throw myself into. The other thing that I'm going to need is some form of a shield. Sure, I would like it to be brutality scaling, because this is definitely going to be a brutality-based run, but maybe one of these can be colorless, and, you know, stuff like Ice Shield will still freeze enemies, Rampart will still make you invincible, all that sort of stuff, even if you're not building with survival. So I think it's worth trying out. However, unlike last time, I'm not going to try to hope for some colorless turrets. I'm just going to take stuff that I know is going to work with brutality. Same thing here. Because sure, I could try to hope for something colorless, but I gotta really keep on top of upgrades for each one of my items, and trying to dilute the pool to hope for something that's going to turn out to be colorless is not really a great idea. Other than that, keep the same healing stuff, and just stuff that scales with brutality, even though I don't know about Corrosive Cloud and Lightspeed. I'll take it. Really make sure that I do have like all of my cool Chivos still able to be unlocked, but that's the plan. It's going to be a run about taking damage, but taking damage in a very controlled way. You get some really big criticals out of this weapon, and I'm going to really be relying on that, especially for endgame. Now, just the regular concierge outfit. Well, talking about purposely taking damage and getting benefits out of that. Alright, no health flasks, extra cells, still get the legendary items, can fully upgrade the forge. Let's acquire the next boss, Stem Cell, which is, it's a little bit different of a process in 4 boss cell mode. Well, different, you just have to beat a different boss in the Hand of the King. And enemies have malaise and a lot of the food is infected. We have seen malaise before. In the first episode, I explained that the mini-bosses in the castle can infect you with malaise, 2 points of it each time. But here, every enemy can infect you with malaise. And not even food is safe, so oh boy, it is. Well, it's a lot more difficult. I mean, you'll notice right now that above my health bar, I have a second bar. That's the malaise bar. When it gets filled up, I am permanently at 10% health until I can... Here, hit me. Yeah, there's a little first orange bar. When that gets filled up, permanently at 10% health, and I can't heal up past 10% until I lower my malaise at least 1 point. And every single enemy that hits you will infect you with malaise. Traps won't, and summoned enemies. You know, like the biters that get summoned from the hammers that you find in the prison depths, or like the slimelings in the ossuary won't infect you with that. Everything else will. Everything in the entire game, that includes bosses, that includes like and you can get it going up pretty quick. It's very tough. And stuff like survival builds where you might be expecting to regen up a lot of health over time suddenly become much more difficult to do that way. Now, there are ways that you can lower malaise. Your potion charge, any single potion charge will lower malaise by, what, I think 5 for each potion charge that you take. But you don't really have an easy way to regen those over time. There's, you know, the mutation type corrupted healing that will allow you to if you have no potion charges, you can get one after killing enough elites. You can buy it from shops, but each shop, especially now that prices are getting even more expensive, will offer it at minimum for 80,000 gold. It's not really the best idea for the most part, but worst comes to worst, that is a way you can do it. And the other thing that you can do to heal up Malaise is find clean food. Not every piece of food is going to be clean, but if you do find a clean one, it will heal 1 point of Malaise. 1. There's 1 guaranteed in every single area dropping from an enemy, but aside from that, it's really just, you know, luck of the draw here. And it's getting really difficult. The food shop does also have your back a little bit because now there is another new item added into... There we go. There's another new item added into the shop called the cough syrup, which can also get rid of, I think, like 4 points of Malaise. But that's still a lot of money you gotta spend. I think minimum you're gonna be spending at least like 40,000 gold for it. It's... And again, you do actually have to have a... Yeah, get over here. Not you, I want the other guy. You do actually have to have enough gold, and you do actually have to have the shop, a food shop in the area to even get that in the first place. It's rough. Also, another new enemy type introduced here is the failed experiment. He looks like the concierge. That's because he is basically the concierge. It's kind of ridiculous. You can also, unlike the concierge, dodge around your attacks. Thankfully, he doesn't get the damage field, but the ability to just completely nullify an attack every, I think, 15 seconds or so is really annoying. He does have the final mutation in the entire game, though, which is pretty nice, and I'm going to get right now. And also, the reason why I think that the whole ability to, like, take damage, especially when damage is now extremely, extremely dangerous to do in the game, is because shields, when you're holding them up, you do take damage, but you don't take Malaise. And that means that I now have, on demand, a way to get criticals at all points in time. In the latest update, they introduced a new thing where your head glows a little bit when you have your critical active, so it's at least very easy to tell when I have this active and when I don't, for example. There we go, Berserker. Am I going to end up using it? I don't know. I think I'm going to be fully packed with stuff like maybe getting dead inside, because that will also increase the amount of mutation, of Malaise points that you can take, and just your health in general, which is going to be very important over the course of this, and just getting like all the curse stuff. I think the curse stuff is going to be important, because hey, this item does synergize with curses, which is pretty nice, but there we are. And there we are. Ooh. Well, you know, as much as I do like the corrosive crossbow, I really, explosive crossbow, not the corrosive crossbow. What was I even saying? I do really need to have a shield to make this work, because otherwise every time I take damage, it's going to be getting Malaised up, and I can't be doing like that. That's way too risky. But yeah, other than that, it's like, Malaise is really difficult. It's really rough to deal with, and it is... Whoa, man! That's amazing. Okay, this is actually a new thing. Can I get close to it? Oh, let me read this first, because this is an incredibly rare drop. I don't even remember the last time that I've seen this. It's the fragment of the Philosopher's Stone, and I've got it in the first area, worth 75,000 gold. You almost never see that. What a good... Oh man, that Firebird luck. It's like, how does this keep happening? It's like, I am literally speechless. But yeah, if you ever see that, it's like, you know you're in for a good run. All right, let's go buy a really great item here, I guess. Inflammable oil, burning, sounds great. Get like a lot of extra points of brutality right off the bat too. I do have the forge fully upgraded now. I did do a lot of grinding off screen, so yeah, well, now I'll be able to afford stuff like potion charges pretty easily. Cool. Well, do keep in mind though that whatever. Also, elite abilities do not give you Malaise, so you can pretty safely take damage from that too to get this to get your criticals working for you. gonna keep gold as well as a sell, even though I should be good on gold for a while. Man, what a good start. What a good start. Yeah. Do remember that even if you're holding up your shield, you can get stunned out of your shield holding up animation by just a big attack. So it's not perfect, but like a lot of smaller attacks will not be affecting you too much. And the real thing is, especially as I start to get adrenaline working for me, is sure, why not? Literally unlock this right before the run. As soon as I start to get adrenaline working, I am going to want to... I'm going to want to just, like, in general, make sure that I'm taking make sure that I'm avoiding taking malaise more than avoiding taking damage. Damage is okay. I can even just run myself into, like, traps or spiked walls or whatever, just so I can get that cool damage on there, as long as adrenaline is going to be working for me. And this is an item that does take a little bit to start to function. Adrenaline is a slow roller, but, you know, much like the other difficulties... Here. Yeah, it's quite slow. But by endgame, I should start to get, like, an incredibly huge amount of damage with this. And that's where the real magic is going to start to happen. Until then, I do think that, hey, don't try to get, like, real... If this is your first attempt going on 4-boss cell mode, don't try to get real, like, risky in terms of routes that you're taking through the game. Go someplace easy. Do like, some simple routes, and really, maybe more than anything else, like, take it slow, take it easy. Don't worry about, like, going through maximum insane berserker style. Just inch your way along and make sure that you're safe more than anything else. This is, yeah, not the time to be taking risks. I saw that there. All right, aside from that, it's like, I do definitely recommend trying to go get yourself, you know, like, taking all the curse chests that you possibly can, going into the corrupted prison, going into the prison depths and getting that curse chest. Especially if you're starting out pretty difficult, getting something like alienation, which, unlike acceptance, which requires so much stuff to even get in the first place, that one is just a drop from the concierge. So if after you beat him enough times, you should be able to get it easily. And even if you're, like, having a hard... even if you're having a hard time in the first couple areas, you can, as long as you're taking it very slow, very easy through after getting cursed, especially knowing that this does get some pretty hefty damage bonuses from getting cursed, you can get rid of that malaise quickly. It is something on the order of, like, what is it? Every 5 curse, you get rid of 2 points of malaise, which is a lot. That's an awful lot of... Punch me, please. Okay. That's an awful lot of healing. That's an awful lot of malaise healing that you can get from every single curse chest, especially because it increases the amount of curse you get for better or for worse. 15 curse might be difficult, but as long as you're taking it real easy and real safe, it's not too bad. Also, it is nice to get that bleed synergy on there. My mutation slots are going to be pretty well filled up with stuff that is going to be working towards making sure that I don't die. But, you know, so I'm not going to be able to get stuff like open wounds mutation or anything, but it's like this will at least help in getting that. And especially because, and this is the other thing that's going to make it real difficult, the way you get the 5th and final boss cell is by fighting the giant. Yeah, you technically don't even need to actually beat the run. I mean, the run does not end after you beat the giant. You just get the 5th boss cell. So that's really the only goal that I have here. But, oh, good. A clean piece of watermelon is going to help out a lot. That's 50% heal, and it's also a 1 extra point of malaise down. Yeah, so the giant, who's all pretty... I mean, is he necessarily harder than the Hand of the King? That's debatable. But he is a pretty rough customer, and that's why having something like a shield, which he is pretty well countered by, is going to help out a lot. Especially a shield that has like a big AoE, like the Bloodthirsty shield, I think is going to do me a lot of good. Also, you know, it enables some synergies, which is just extra damage, extra critical, extra points healed whenever I get adrenaline working. I could also take Frenzy, and Frenzy might work, especially if you do decide to take something like And in fact, I might actually end up switching that out later in the game if I end up taking like masochism, because masochism is a good thing to be taken into the giant fight, and I do need to, like, there's no debating it, I do need to fight the giant to progress in the game. It might be worth taking like masochism and frenzy instead, so that each time I get hit by a trap, I can start to regen up a lot. I think adrenaline is a little bit more, it's a little bit more controlled, especially if you're going to be really inching your way through the game. Getting the speed buff up by getting kill combos is not something you can rely on. Phaser can be nice, but I actually really like what I got right now. Flamethrower turret's giving me a lot of stats. It's giving me the oil synergy. Knife Dance is giving me bleed propagation, and with more enemies getting closer packed in here, that can be important. You know, the bleed propagation can actually take out a lot more enemies than you expect. So there's, I don't know. It's like, this is, I'm going to be honest here. This is, when I said this is a big hurdle, it's like 2 boss cell I think is the biggest hurdle just because the game really stops pulling its punches entirely. But 4 boss cell is the next big one. Malaise is so hard to overcome. It is really asking you to very rarely ever get hit, or in the case of this run, get hit, you know, really plan out how you're getting hit, and that's alongside the general increase in difficulty, more enemies, blah blah blah, and those like failed experiments are pretty difficult to deal with. They're not gonna, you know, take their death lying down, take their brain in a jarity lying down here, and the whole way that they will like dodge around your attacks means that they can be really frustrating to fight, especially in large groups of enemies. But hey, as long as I'm kind of like keeping that critical up and everything, and I'm really no, you really can't. They will dodge parries. They will dodge your shield parrying them. It's ridiculous. But I mean, really, it's the Malaise. The Malaise is so it's ridiculous. And if you're having a lot of trouble on this, I do not blame you. I mean, I would really recommend taking like a super gimmicky run or a very, very powerful run. I'm talking on the order of like the damage over time thing. You can outrange enemies, you can deal a lot of damage, focus entirely on getting your, making sure that you're dodging everything. It's important, and it's... Ooh, actually, I will take the burning oil, because with oil... With the oil and flamethrower turret, that's a very easy way to just double up my damage. And that's a lot of extra healing from adrenaline. Yeah, so, I mean, it's going to be slow. It's going to be very defensively focused. This is a lot more traditionally Dark Souls than the usual type of run in Dead Cells, where you're kind of like hiding behind a shield, and that's a major part of this. But, you know, unlike Dark Souls, where that's just a necessity to not die from taking a lot of damage, here, it's like you do actually get some pretty big bonuses for playing very defensively. The damage gets reduced a lot. You don't take Malaise. You can get like some cool synergies potentially out of the shield. It's a different type of shield run, but it's a very effective one. Especially, it's like, if you don't feel like you don't have the ability to dodge every single enemy attack. Even though that's going to be important for regenning up, you can maybe take out like a huge group of enemies, and then, you know, like one singular zombie or one failed experiment, which is going to be, oh sure, I can unlock Berserker, which is actually not a bad thing. Malaise, damage reduction, that works well for kind of like inching your way through like I have been doing before. Something to consider. Something to consider. You can also see it's like, yeah, I have pretty much every item in the game at this point. we're really coming up on the end, aside from the last daily run, which I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do anything with. That's going to be too far in the future. The series is going to be over before I get the final item, the meat skewer from doing dailies. I only just got the lacerating aura, which would be pretty good for this run, to be honest. Oh, this is tempting. I'm going to actually take this. To make sure that I really am going to be... To make absolutely sure that I really am going to be absolutely safe, just getting a little bit of extra healing here. It's not going to work well for synergies, but for the very beginning, I think... be careful. Okay, but I think for the very beginning, it'll be just fine. All right. The critical's working out very well. That's what I'm talking about with this being quite good. Jump down here, jump up here, get them in a little tiny area so they have to teleport right on me. Oh, by the way, I didn't even mention, enemies teleport now. Like, that's, I don't know. I'm inching through this so slowly, I didn't even mention that. Yeah, enemies teleport to you. Everything just teleports to you now. You can't get away from enemies. If enemies find you, they will never let up. They will never let up the chase, making it even more difficult in like a different way. How did I even forget to mention that? That is such an important part of this that makes it even more difficult. Slow and careful wins the race. Yeah, it's like, so yeah, 4 boss cell mode is such a big jump up in difficulty. Well, anyway, yeah, the synergy with, be so careful. The synergy with curses is helping out quite a bit, and this is also a point in time that I talked about it in the bad episode that doesn't exist anymore. But to mention that there is breach in the game. Basically, that means that you will breach an enemy's defenses after attacking you enough. If you can deal enough damage to an enemy, you will stop them from attacking you. And when you got criticals on this weapon going on, you can actually kind of just like very, very quickly mash on the attack button and manage to kill enemies before they can even get off a single attack on you. And that is good. Especially because, like I said, you are going to be wanting to really be inching your way through this. Spread some flammable oil on the enemy? No, I want to keep the tonic for right now. Also, if like things... Okay. There we are. There we are. I told you, this is like a really effective way of taking enemies out here. And then here, let's just... no, what I want to do is I want to roll through that, get adrenaline working, start to regen up a little bit of health. Oh, that's nice too. That is nice too. Dead Inside it's good for getting a lot of extra health, but it is going to make sure that I can't really... Good. That I can't really heal up with food, though, which sometimes, you might want to say, hey, if a piece of food is infected, which, by the way, I've been extraordinarily lucky right now not getting any piece of infected food, but yeah. Okay, let's first off aggro you. Oh, the box elite, fun. Good. Taking too much damage. Here's where the tonic comes in. I knew having the tonic was going to be a good idea. 75% damage reduction does sound really good, but I'm going to keep gold as well as a cell for right now. God, I'm getting really lucky with the food. Usually you see a lot more infected food around here, by the way. It is not common to not see that. Yeah, tonic, good for the invincibility, good for the little bit of extra health. I think that it's like I probably should have approached that in a little bit better way, but hit me. I mean, really, this is also a good time to be like starting to take out your homunculus rune too. There we go, because that will have enemies teleport to you, which is ridiculous, but hey, whatever works. All right, he saw me. That means he's gonna teleport to me. If I see that I'm not breaching him, I'm gonna immediately throw up the shield. And yeah, okay, come on. You gotta play a little bit better than that. Good. All right. Okay, no, never mind. Gotta take care of you first. Yeah, this is the sort of thing that it's like, I think when you're just starting out on 4 boss cell mode, you can play this faster, certainly. But playing real sloppy is just going to... yes, big stun there, then. Okay. Should have been a little bit more careful about seeing the invisible enemy, though. Good. No, I want to get at least, like, some sort of gold. All right, and that's generally the way that you want to play it, but now I'm going to speed up the run because, What do you got? Maybe I will. No, I'm not going to take Rampart. I really just want to get going here. Hey, you know something that's also very effective? Just running through as fast as possible. Enemies do take a second to teleport to you, and they do have, like, stagger teleportation where they won't all do it at the same time. And that does mean that you are going to... that you're gonna run into some problems with that sort of thing over time. But it's like if you're just fast enough, It's fine. You'll be totally fine. Anyway, dead inside to make sure that I have enough points of... I can take a ton of Malaise, but I can also heal up a lot. Especially by endgame, when you get a ton of stats, it's going to be... I'll be totally fine for taking care of this. I'm definitely still going to want to be careful, because there's like another cursed chest and everything in here, but... As long as I'm cautious, in some ways, it can sometimes be actually advantageous to attempt to group up enemies in just one area. For example, like I can group up everything right here and then just get that flamethrower turret. This is also something, you know, like pro strats here. Jumping around, if you're not on the ground, an enemy can't figure out where to teleport to you. So if you're just like constantly hopping around in the air, you can sort of confuse enemies and prevent them from like teleporting around for quite a while, actually. Which is why it's like you can sort of make their AI a little bit more manageable. But aside from that, getting enemies in really tiny, tight areas will do a lot to... Oh, come on. Enemies in really tiny, tight areas will do a lot. Will make it so that you can like take them down with swords very easily. Watch out for that with like thornies. It's like there's a lot of stuff that you can do to make this work for you. But to be honest, you know, when the going gets tough, it can sometimes just be an impossibly huge like outcome, an impossibly huge battle for you to try to take on. And that's why being cautious, being slow, I think is the best option, but, you know, I would not begrudge you if you're like, it's impossible. Sometimes running is the best option. Sometimes you just got a flock of seagulls it. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing here. Because, well, the other thing is that I am, you know, there's still a series. I don't really want to be taking it too slow. Unless I want to decide to... Where am I going? Unless I want to decide to try to put the enemy, or the enemy, try to put the video speed like at double or something. No. One of the reasons, I mean, for me, I know especially playing the game, I did eventually get to the point where I'm just like, I'm going to start playing fast and loose. Just because I've played it enough. Oh, and here we go. 15 curses is a lot to take down, but it should be okay as long as I'm very cautious. Also, colorless shield, that's what I was hoping for, so that's good. And here's where I want to slow it down. Start taking it easy. Again. The ranged enemies will not teleport to you. They will just be sniping all the time. And never, ever stop sniping. It's one of those things that makes dealing with them real fun in this difficulty. I mean, I guess I'm glad that, you know, the shockers don't teleport to me, but... Yeah. Just jump up there as fast as possible, take these guys down. Curses... Managing curses can be difficult, but as long as you kind of, like, plan stuff out, enemies do need to, like, prep up attacking you immediately after teleporting, so that's also a good way to kind of, like, cheese them out. Really take all of your ranged weapons, you know, and make sure that you're using them as much as you possibly can, or stuff like turrets that can be very effective. I think that if you're cursed, you really don't want to try to fight enemies in melee, but hey, if you got to, you got to. Just try to make enemies teleport to you, because that's actually it's very safe to attack enemies immediately after they teleport, and that's important. That can be an important, like, pro tip that will save your life. As it is, though, I'm actually doing just fine on Malaise and health right now. Okay, take him down. Yeah, we good? Oh, I guess I had 3 left. Flamethrower turret is so good, and it's so good for like playing cautiously like this. Definitely would not recommend getting cursed to get that extra damage going into battle. Just you know, that sort of thing works out super well. And then it's like, yeah, like I was saying, adrenaline might not be working too well for right now, but once you get to very, very high high stats, it'll be extremely, extraordinarily powerful. I've gotten it to the point where when you're fighting like 2 enemies, you can go from like 50% to 100% if you get enough stats. And being that you do have all of these extra scroll fragments and extra curse chests that are opened up because of the cell doors that are opened up and everything, it's actually not as difficult. I think that by end game, you should get to like 30 brutality or so. At least that's usually how it goes for me. And that's good. You'll be dealing some real amazing damage, but you know, damage is not really the only concern. Playing defensively, I think, is... This is really the time more than any other where, like, going super offensively, like going for a tactics full-on glass cannon run is not a good idea. Oh boy. The kick is also good at, like, interrupting enemies too, which can be pretty helpful at keeping you hale and hearty for the run. Yeah, of course. I really don't need too much more money, but hey, I might be able to just get like a whole ton of extra the good affixes on some of my items, or just re-rolling shops over and over, or I can just save it up for potion charges. It's like that's a perfectly reasonable, good strategy if you were to ask me. Oh, there is one more curse chest. Do I have 10 enemies to fight? Yes. Okay. Don't want to make sure. Oh wow, I also missed the power scroll too. Want to make sure that you are definitely prepping up for that. That you're not accidentally not leaving. Well, 15 enemies, not even 10. Not leaving enough enemies as you're going through here to get rid of curses that you might be running across. Also, yeah, I didn't even... I guess, you know, I thought it's like, hey, I already found the curse chest. You can get... I've actually seen, like, getting 2 curse chests pretty commonly in the... let's not accidentally, like, hit his back and die. Can get curse chests pretty commonly when it comes to... maybe not that route. Okay, and there. When it comes to going in this area, which is good. There's a lot of extra stats. It's a lot of extra stats. Oh, come on. I don't like enemies sniping at me when I am cursed. And this is a run that does kind of require me to be... What's up here? Climbing on walls while... Climbing on walls while your turrets take care of stuff. It's a strategy. It is a workable strategy. Can't say that was ineffective. And wall climbing can be more than just getting you around. Sometimes, like I said, being in the air does mean that you are like safe. You're pretty safe. And a lot of enemies can't attack you in the air. Just make sure you're not around any sort of snipers when you're doing that sort of... when you're trying to pull that sort of malarkey. And yeah, before I even get to the first boss, 20 in brutality. That's not an easy thing to accomplish in a lot of the other cell difficulties, but hey, this is also the point in time that you can really use it more than anything else. Making sure that you are properly overpowered, that you have all the best like synergies going on that you possibly can. Making sure that you have like the most powerful equipment that's of biome level and everything that you can is just it's paramount to making sure that you can survive the horrors of 4 boss cell mode. 5th boss cell is actually not that much worse than this. The major thing is the final area that gets opened up at the very end of the Hand of the King fight. I didn't actually mean to unlock that, but whatever. I mean, I just have all the outfits here for their dumb the lines, like, you know, nobody remembering the cloud outfit. I do like tentacles. That out, more time stuff. So many of the boss outfits. An angry mob. Yeah, if there was anybody else that could join my mob, I would like that. But those with Heart Machine created Hyperlight Drifter, and that's the reference there. Street Fighter, because that's M. Bison's Dictator's outfit. Yeah, most of the other stuff I've already unlocked, though, unfortunately. I guess I could probably just do, like, a showcase right now, because this is... It's like, I don't really necessarily need to wait until the end of the episode if it's only 3 things. I don't know. This is also the point in time now that I've kind of gotten rid of a lot of the... Well, you know what? I'm going to take damage anyway. Oh, I shouldn't be taking Malaise, though. I should watch out for that. At least do this. And you can't really block the shield with the damage field that he's got going on with a shield, after all. Can't block his shield with your shield. But yeah, you're able to rally up a lot of that health like I was talking about last time. And you're also able to get an increased amount of health from, like, the... Yeah. You're also able to get an increased amount of health from the my Malaise. Increased amount of health from the adrenaline and everything, too. Of course, the Malaise is a real thing. I maybe played that a little bit riskier than I needed to, but, well, that's also why I got the, it's also why I got the alienation mutation in the first place. Because alienation is going to get rid of a lot of Malaise. I just got to, you know, deal with curses, which is maybe not the best, but it is a strategy. 100% unlocked now. It's looking pretty good. All right, I don't know. Let's just go with the Ascendant Concierge. Why not? Get rid of some of these cells. I mean, there's no reason to hoard on to there's no reason to be holding on to them to really hoard it or anything right now anyway, so... I can easily do that, no problem at all. Another thing that doesn't cause Malaise is the darkness in the Sepulchre, so if you really want to play that game, it can work, it can function. Is it a good idea? I don't know. I mean, you know, otherwise, another thing too is that, hey, the Spite Sword is also just a good sword. It's nice and fast. I mean, you can easily take down, like, flying enemies pretty quickly, and the kick I don't really think is very useful, but it's good enough. Okay, well, it's a good thing that I am going to be, okay, all right. Thank you, Tonic. This is why I kept you around. I'm going to be getting cursed in here, and I'm going to be using that curse to just really get rid of a lot of this Malaise right now, because it's clearly not working out as well as I was hoping, but you know. I'm also kind of playing badly because overall, like I said, this is the sort of build that you can play badly with. Sort of the build that you can play badly and you will be covered with, aside from the Malaise. Malaises. Now that's not really quite what I was hoping for. Now, that's something where I don't really want to, you know, try to get, like, adrenaline working or whatever. Good. And, yeah, good. Please don't be an elite golem. I'll take it. Good. Yeah, the damage is really starting to come through. You can see the sort of... It's like a 3 times damage critical modifier. And it's pretty obvious that I'm getting the most out of that I possibly can right now. Stop that. You stop that as well. Demons in here, and demons being immune to fire is frustrating, but hey, they're also pretty well countered by shields, so that does work out well for me. Yeah, getting curse is also something that you don't really need to only get by taking curse chests or whatever. And this is maybe not the best idea to be taking the curse chest immediately, but I'm doing it. No, I want a regular shield, one that's going to be a little bit easier to use. What was I saying here? Oh, yes. No, not oh, yes. I forgot. Yeah, this is maybe not the best idea because I don't know what the next enemies that I'm going to be encountering are. It might be a bunch of the, demons or something like that. And demons are not really the most friendly when it comes to curses. If I just run up and try to take them down immediately, maybe it'll be okay, but I don't know. Okay. Don't get hit by that orb caster who's already casting some orbs at me right now. Okay. I gotta stop doing stuff sing-songy like, by the way. Okay. Yeah, just take him down immediately. I didn't think that duelist would have saw me, but it doesn't matter anyway. Was able to take him out, no problem at all. All right. And in every single one of these like little level chunklets, as I haven't called them for a while, but I always like the name of. Every one of these little level chunklets, you do find at least one of the golems, and there he is. Okay. Gonna definitely want to watch out that I don't accidentally aggro that guy, to the point that I think I might actually just go back. I don't really want to risk this here. Curses are very much helpful for keeping me alive, but I'm also very, very afraid of dying. Oh, man, I would really... You know, what I want to do is I want to make sure that I have that inflammable oil on all the time, and this should be the way to do it. This should definitely... There will be no question that enemies are getting inflammable oiled up when I got this sort of thing going on. Okay, I was thinking that it's just like, as long as I did a decent amount of damage, I can easily take them down because I am cursed right now. Okay, so that did actually go over that little area. This is also the point in time where I'm going to... What, really? I'm just gonna run. I'm gonna run and hope that this dude teleports to me. Are you kidding me? Your incredibly non-aggressive nature right now is frustrating me. Anyway, that's not quite all of the Malaise, but hey, I still have plenty of potion charges and everything too. Worst comes to worst, that's the plan. That is the plan. Get that cool... Yeah, get that cool damage there. You know, let's just make sure... And then it's kind of risky to go after these guys, but as long as you start rolling as soon as they're running towards you, you can get that adrenaline pumping. Generator, all-night lover. Innovator, killer machine. Yes, and then it'll work out well for you. Now, I do have two options here. I can either go through to the cavern from that 2-cell door there. Because like I said, there were new areas that were opened up by having the cavern unlock last time. Or I can go into the sepulcher because there's a route straight to the giant in there. And that is a possibility. It's not a bad idea. But I do think that I guess I might as well go for the cavern because that does also have a food shop. And that food shop will contain a... I mean, first off, I don't have to worry about curses then, because you don't really see curses too much in the... Good. You don't really see curses too much in the cavern. It's not impossible, but it's not common. So it's safer in some ways. Good. And then we'll also, you know, just potentially get me a lot of extra stats. I feel like the last time that I was in the cavern, I was surprised by the amount of stats that I was getting, and I would like to be surprised by that again, if I could possibly have that happen. I'm currently at 25 brutality, 26 brutality. This is a powerful run, and this is the sort of thing where, like, the adrenaline is keeping me very much healthy right now, even aside from some very big hits that I've been taking. You know, Cleaver's nice and everything. I actually really like what I got going on right now. A little bit of oil and fire synergy, which is not only buffing up the damage over time that I'm getting from the fire alone. Have I seen this one before? Yeah, I'll say. Well, you didn't manage to maintain it for any amount of time, really. All right. Let's go grab that last scroll and then get out of here. You can continue to look around for, like, challenge rifts or maybe, like, an enemy carrying a legendary item, but I'm not super concerned about that happening. Managed to die from that. That's the power of having this much brutality, man. It's pretty effective. Okay, here. Punch me. Oh, no. Actually, get pretty close to me, and then punch me when you're against the wall. Okay, never mind then. That was not the plan that I was going for. I was gonna roll past it, get adrenaline to proc, and, like, you know, get some really good heals off of that. But instead, I nearly died. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay, and that does get adrenaline to work for me. which is a pretty easy to dodge attack. It's a comparatively slow type of deal. Yeah, that single hit getting me 2% of my health back, and that's just going to get more with time. That's good. That's good. Frontline Shield is also good for just, like, buffing up my, my main hand, my Spite Sword. 20% extra damage every time I get a parry, but I'm not really using it to get parries. I'm just holding out the shield right now. Told you this is a good strategy. And although I kind of bungled a little bit of it, it's like, you know, obviously if you're playing a little bit slower, you can do this better. Let's get into the cavern. This is maybe a questionable play, but I do get a food shop out of it and everything, and that's good. That's good enough to really want to go in here. Hard to say, but it's what I'm doing. All right, and then everything else, I just continue going on with this. Yeah, I should grab Lacerating Aura. That's a good item. It's a lot of extra damage, and it's like a very defensive type of thing. You know, when you're going in for melee, you just have it as not defensive, a passive type of thing, where you're going in for melee and you just have it on, does damage to enemies around you. Brutality scaling. I mean, it's like, what more can you ask for? You manage to get something like poison an enemy on that, and I still have plenty of money to be able to make that work for me. Speaking of which, I do have plenty of money right now. You know, despite having that, like, huge cash influx at the very beginning, I haven't really done too much with it just yet. I can certainly be doing more to make it work for me. Okay. Shield's also pretty good at dealing with this guy, too, even if I'm not going to be using this strategy, provided they can actually hit me. I mean, I know you don't have eyes, but you'd think that you seem to not have too many problems attacking me otherwise. Well, Magnetic Grenade is nice and everything, but I'm not really going to worry too much about that. Otherwise, just looking to see if I did off-screen already get the special affix that you get from special outfit that you get from going into the cavern on 4 boss cell mode, but that doesn't mean that I can't show that off again anyway. Well, as it is though, I'm worried here. Just keep your eyes on the ceiling. Keep your eyes on the skies. Is this one I've already seen? No, yeah, I've already seen it. Already seen that one. They had people in here for a very long time before I guess they just died because Malaise. As you do. Take advantage of them, that invincibility that you get, the invulnerability that you get from... Do it. That was more damage than I expected it to be. Even with the shield out. Okay, anyway. I think that the shield didn't actually help me there because that was like a shockwave on the ground. You can't really block that sort of thing with the shield. Oh well, that's where the rally comes in. That's where the rally comes in. Hey, I learned this sort of strategy a lot all the way back in Bloodborne. I learned this strategy even more. I thought I might have seen a rune on... No, wait, I did see a rune on the ground. Almost got me there, game. Almost. Really blended in with the background there. Oh man, 3 points? Getting 4 stats as well as like 75% damage reduction, gold as well as a cell? What a... You know, hey, this is why it's sometimes worthwhile to go into the cavern. You still do have to deal with all of the very difficult enemies and other problems that come with going in here, but hey, 4 stats. How can you not like 4 stats? Especially if you manage to get a lot of them to be your main stat that you're working with right now. I should be able to get even more health a little bit later, speaking of which, to kind of offset the issues that I am bringing upon myself by going very hard into brutality by grabbing Soldier's Endurance. Another reason why brutality just in general, good. Good and good. You really do get a lot of extra... Oh, come on now. You know what? With the Philosopher's Stone thing, I can actually just take a potion charge. Because I should be able to afford a potion at this point. Something that on 4-cell mode, usually pretty unheard of when it comes to Cavern. Blarg, I say. Usually pretty unheard of when it comes to Cavern, but hey. If I got the ability, why not? I'm gonna want to really make sure I'm prepping up for the giant though anyway, because that's the real part of this run. Making sure that more than anything else that I am very, very much prepped up for that giant. By the way, you know, speaking of my incredible luck that I've had over the course of this series, I don't even think I've seen a piece of infected food yet, which is madness. Like I showed you the custom mode that I did and everything. You saw that, like, I have achievements unlocked and all that, so I didn't like turn off infected food or whatever. I'm just the luck in this series has been insane. I cannot even say that enough. Where I don't really know what's been happening, but it's like this is like suspiciously good luck, to be honest. Anything really good here? Well, something really bad is that I have this fine fellow attacking me. Oh, come on! How are you dodging everything that well? I really do want to... Well, flammable oil. Well, I don't have the 100% on burning targets. I mean, that's a very powerful sword. 75% extra damage, and I would really like to get it. I'm doing okay for damage anyway, so... Yeah, and they're another non-infected piece of food. What is going on? Wow. Scary. I mean, I did purposely take on... I did purposely take a potion charge with the assumption that that was going to not be a problem later. Okay. I guess maybe that had 4 points of brutality on there. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Because would I have taken that? Yeah, I would have taken that. That would have been... Okay, there's an infected piece of food. So I can't really eat that, but... And also I can't heal because I do have that inside on right now, so let's... go down here and get 1 extra little point healed, and then get up here and see what's happening. Another nice thing about the giant is that I can immediately go to the Hand of the King after him. And I think with this sort of statage, I'm just going to choose to do that. I'm not even going to risk getting absolutely moidalized by going into the castle. Those enemies are really tough in there, and it's just not a good time for anybody involved. Because I would be killing them, too. Anything? No, not really. And then be careful so that I can just get that parry and take them down really easy. Spike Shield is a lot of extra... Spike Shield, just in general, is a shield that does damage. And you can see that that does include, like, parries, which is working out pretty well for me right now. Alright, take that, and... 2% extra health, but with the amount of damage I'm getting off of my sword and everything right now, what does it matter? This is going totally fine. Alright, where's the actual, like, exit that I need to get? Oh, I do see somebody that has a stat for me and or legendary item. Actually, I don't know if you can give a stat and a legendary item, but that'd be neat if I mean, this would be the time to find out now, wouldn't it? Man, I didn't even have the critical up there. Oh, the crowbar. You know, the crowbar is pretty good. And does give me poison, but, like, what does poison matter? Flamethrower turret doesn't... It does have that 100% on poison, but it doesn't actually affect it. It's something to think about, but it's also, like... It's something that could be worth considering, but it's also something that I'm not going to take. The Spite Sword is really what this run has been based around, and there's no reason to be changing it out right now. Unless, like, I had some really killer synergies on my other items, it's not a good idea to try to be switching out stuff. Where am I actually going? I guess upwards from here. Inching your way along. Inching your way downtown, walking fast, cars are fast and homebound. Alright, alright. I do think that masochism is still probably something that's worth taking, especially because I'm not really going to be getting too much usage out of, good. Especially because I'm not really going to be getting too much usage out of my, my alienation anymore. But, also at the same time, I don't know. I could also just try to, like, take the revenge mutation and... could also just try to take, like, the revenge mutation and try to, use... and try to get, like, even more damage whenever I take damage. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, where, like, attempting to grab as many stats as possible really does work out quite well for you in the end, doesn't it? Man, how'd you even fit here? Ah, come on, where is that thing? I've been looking for it. I've been looking for the entrance in the roof the entire time here, and I have just not been finding it. See, it down to 30,000 gold. I told you, it's very expensive to get that, but... if I didn't get the Philosopher's Stone at the very beginning, I would not have been able to afford it. What a silly circumstance I found myself in. Oh no, there is also another star character here. Any sort of... Yep, stats. Stats are good. Stats are getting me up to nearly 35 brutality. Wow. That's a lot. That is a lot. I mean, as of right now, I'm getting 100,000 DPS on my Spite Sword when I'm taking damage. Even more if I manage to get an upgrade in the shop there. But hey, I'll take whatever, man. I'm not going to be too picky because I don't think 100,000 damage is going to be the make or break point of this run. All right. Ascend that concierge. Then yeah, I'm really foreseeing like a good fight going on here. I'll take adrenaline, I'll take masochists, and just go with that inside. Feels like not really a whole lot of health, but it should still be perfectly manageable, especially because it's usually I think like the best giant kills are like really high level tactics runs where you have like turrets shooting them at all points in time, and you're able to hit them at a really big range. But this should be totally fine anyway. Hey, it's me. Again! This is the same, same cutscene as before. Yep. Okay, I don't want to purposely take damage, but I do want to take damage for that sort of thing. Yeah, there we go, buddy. And just get parries on this, I think is going to be a little bit better than trying to go for the Spite Sword synergies. Now that's a problem. Good parry, and good time for a parry. Yeah. Hey, oh, come on. Hey, man, come on. Just, you know, like, don't worry about getting the maximum amount of damage possible. Just kind of focus on sticking and moving. Oh, come on. Had to be a phase change right there. I was about to get the good damage. Still haven't even seen the super ability that the giant has where he can... You know what, just do that. And give me that. Super ability where he can charge up. You see like he's got like the pauldrons. They will light up occasionally. And then he will get like an extremely powerful attack. I haven't even seen that just yet. Good. I mean, taking damage from that is actually not that big of a deal. There it is. Bye, I guess. Final boss cell. I hope you're ready, because it's not tremendously more difficult than this one, but oh boy, is it something. And the misunderstood giant, which I believe is the final one for me to get. Alright. Well, next time it's a finale with 5 boss cell mode. But before that, of course, we still got the ending and everything, and a fight against... We still got the traditional ending going and getting all the blueprints, as well as showing off some lore and everything, but even more than that, there is still one more boss to fight, even though it doesn't really matter. This is more or less a victory lap at this point in time, so... Don't really have to be... It really doesn't matter if I die here, basically. I guess the real thing is don't accidentally get hit by the giant when you don't have that shield up, and just parry the projectiles. I don't think not parrying the projectiles is a good idea. Hey yo, it's me. Well, I don't really want to get hit down to the spikes, but also at the same time, I don't really need to worry too much about getting hit down to the spikes. I do still have the, Masochism on it and everything. Yeah, you can jump over that, by the way. It's just, I don't want to. It just feels like it's not a good idea for me. And this is something that I haven't really tried to do before, but... Yeah, he got hit by the scorpion and as it was falling down. That can take up a big chunk of health. It's one of those things that's like, don't try to attempt to make that work for you. But when it does work, it's pretty great. Certainly helps that final phase quite a bit. And also the final Hand of the King outfit. So still can't quite get in here, but I mean, it's not going to be too much longer till that happens. Alright, let's get these last few items. Smoke Bomb, Lacerating Aura, and Shrapnel Axes. Only 3 items left, but there are still a couple more that will get opened up by getting to the 5th boss cell area. And oh man, I should have just unlocked the Lacerating Aura if that was what I was going to be getting. That's great! There's so many synergies on there. Alright, then Smoke Bomb and the Shrapnel Axe. Shrapnel Axe doesn't really open up. I mean, I did say last time that you can do everything on 0 cell mode, but like demons don't start appearing, the failed experiments don't start appearing, all that sort of stuff. Rampagers as well. It's like you do need to be on some higher level difficulties just to have the enemies that drop them start appearing. So Shrapnel Axe, tactics, brutality scaling. It's a perfect combination of a ranged and melee weapon. It's okay, if I'm being honest. It's not anything like super amazing, but hey, it is very fast attacking, and you do get some range out of it, so that last hit in the combo especially will actually do quite a bit of damage. Then next up we got Lacerating Aura, which is the shrapnel that you shoot out, except it's going around you in a circle. 12 seconds is kind of a long-ish cooldown, but for the 4 seconds that you're able to use it, but you can use that to take out a lot of enemies very quickly, especially at higher levels. It's good for just like crowd control, and it's also good because if you're going to be melee anyway, that's some pretty a constant source of damage, especially if you get some sort of synergy enabler on it, like making enemies bleed. Smoke Bomb, it's sort of like the invisibility, like defensive version of the grappling hook. Makes you invisible, and as you saw last time, when you're invisible, you are very much immune to enemies unless you decide to attack, but you also get like a pretty big damage bonus after using it. It's something that I feel like is very good for your inching along type of gameplay, like I was talking about with the with going on 4-cell mode, but I don't really think it's something that I would use too much because you got to play it real slow, like real slow. And so those are the last couple items, at least for right now. Gonna have a few more coming up, but not too many. Starting to really get there. Well, anyway, enjoy the blueprints, of which is going to be a lot of mutation and a lot of outfit ones this time. And the last few lore rooms that I found. So most of these first few blueprints that I'm getting are ones that probably should have been included in the previous episode. Even though it didn't appear in the live version, in the bad resolution version, I did already do stuff. I did already do showcases of stuff like the tornado and the flashing fans, which I managed to get without a hunter's grenade. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. I mean, it's not that these blueprints don't really drop without a hunter's grenade, it's more that I usually wasn't recording when I saw them. And I think that one was included when I also got an outfit, which is why it was a little bit more of an unusual circumstance. Shrapnel axes only available from the demons, which gotta be on higher cell difficulty to get, which is why I didn't really include it previously. And this one, I just missed. Yeah, I completely forgot about the... What a good jump. I completely forgot about getting this, the smoke grenade for a long time, because it's not really an item that I use a whole lot. So that one kind of fell by the wayside for some time. This is probably the last daily update, or the last daily blueprint that I'm going to be able to get, because the final one requires another 5 dailies to do, and to be honest, the final episode for this is probably going to be the next one, which will be coming in the next couple days. So, no meat skewer, I guess. Oh well, while it is a nice item, it's not really something that I would be planning to use for the final episode anyway. Then you'll notice the next couple of blueprints that I'm going to be getting are all in the castle, because I wanted to put those off for a very long time, because it was mostly a lot of mutations, which didn't really matter too much anyway. Stuff like initiative is okay, but, you know, a little bit of extra damage on the first hit I think you get with a melee weapon in a tactics run. Yeah. Instinct is one of those mutations that can be kind of decent, but more often than not requires you to be basically at the end of the game before it becomes really useful. Now this one takes quite a while to get because rampagers don't show up for some time, but adrenaline, as you saw in that last run, very, very nice to have, very, very useful. And yeah, I'm sorry, a couple of these were also recorded in the bad times, so it's still good enough, right? Well, open wounds is at least a really fantastic mutation, and with something like the sadistic dagger, you can pretty much get criticals all the time, sort of like I was getting with the spite sword, except that's all the time rather than whenever you choose to take a little bit of damage. Most of the mutations you're going to be getting in the game are from bosses, though. Alienation, gastronomy, the velocity I think I'm going to be getting pretty soon from the timekeeper. And despite getting a bunch of mutations before getting the final upgrade from the Conjunctivius, you do get the Advanced Forge as the final blueprint you get from her. It's not super great, and honestly, by the time I got it, I already had the Forge fully upgraded, but it does let you upgrade things twice. You know, going from like a plus item to plus to all the way to S rank if you got enough money. But to be honest, I don't know. It was easier to upgrade the Forge than it was to fight the Conjunctivius that many times. So take that how you will. And then after this, you have to fight these bosses a lot to get all of their blueprints, because you get this many mutations, and then you get an equal amount of outfits from them afterwards. It's you're not going to be able to 100% in just a couple runs. It's going to require like at least 10, 15, and that's if you manage to get all of the blueprints just being dropped normally without having to use the Hunter's Grenade. And the last little bit here is just the outfits. So very many outfits. To the point that I'm not even going to try to unlock them for this save file. I'm just going to do a showcase of every one of the outfits in the next episode on my 100% complete save file. Because that is... It requires maybe more cells than it does to fully upgrade the forge to unlock all of the outfits. All of the final ones that you get from bosses on 4 boss cell mode are 750 cells each, and it's like, I'm willing to do some grinding, but to be honest, I don't even know if I've gotten all the outfits in the game so far. One of them I know that I'm not even entirely sure if it's possible to get any more, at least possible to get outside of like some rare circumstances, for example, when the Hand of the King is summoning enemies in this boss fight. Because as far as I can tell, I don't think undead archers appear in 4 boss cells anymore, 4 boss cell mode. They got a specific outfit for that, but I don't know where you can find them, because it doesn't, you can't get that outfit on anything less than 4 boss cells as far as I know. Maybe it's been changed up in one way or another. Either way, at least I'm pretty sure that I got most of them. It's just hard to say because there's not like a there's not like a custom mode that shows how many outfits that you have unlocked in quite the same way. It's all a bunch of cosmetic stuff anyway, so it's not like it really matters. I'm just getting them for completion's sake, basically. And you're gonna get to see every one of them anyway, so I think it's fine. Yeah, this one was sprung on me so quickly that I didn't even have the sound recording. So Gardener's outfit, you find it in, I guess it must be on higher cell difficulty, because I swear I've looked at this lower room already and I didn't get that outfit before. Well, anyway, one of the few that you get from lower rooms rather than an enemy. Not a whole lot of them, but those ones usually tend to be something pretty special. For example, the outfit that you get from the Cavern that I was talking about. Demon outfit, that's a fun one. Black skin, jet black skin, but also like glowing red accoutrement on your outfit. It's pretty neat looking. Not my favorite outfit, but it's gotta be up there. Cloud outfit, hey, Final Fantasy VII remake out right now. I'm probably not going to play it. I don't know, it's not really something I'm all that interested in. I have played the original Final Fantasy, but the remake, it's not even turn-based anymore. I was really hoping to see it be turn-based. Oh well. This thing is horrible to get if you don't have some sort of form of freezing, or if you don't want to get disengagement to work on you. Yeah, if I didn't manage to get it right that last second, disengagement would at least let me be able to channel that thing entirely. Yeah, just sure. Look, a lot of these things weren't here to be successful runs. They were here to be blueprint gathering runs. So, using as many potion charges as I possibly can, and like really abusing getting hit over and over, that's fine. It doesn't matter at all. Here we go. Garland key. You got to go all the way up to find the 4 boss cell door, wherever it may be. Because you can obviously get the Garland key prior to this, but it has no use outside of the 4 cell door. So I mean, it's really just there to, I don't know, sharpen your finding stuff skills. Why not? Lets you into a room with a couple gems. But that's not the real prize. No. Sure, the gems are nice, and I guess maybe if you're really strapped on cash. But the festive outfit is one of the best in the game. It's incredibly gaudy, neon-colored, ridiculous-looking. It's great. And of course, like I was saying, ones that appear... ones that aren't dropped by enemies are usually something pretty special, and that's special enough that it's probably going to be the one I'm using for the final episode. It is my favorite. Why do I keep coming in here with tactics runs? Well, hey, at least I got disengagement up this time. I guess. Don't fight the tick mini-boss with tactics unless you're just going to be blitzing it down. Not if you want to try to get blueprints out of it. It's such a bad idea. And there. Tick Trainer. I mean, that's certainly how I felt by the end of that. More demons, meaning impossible to get prior to this. Now it's got the Cardis outfit on. Not as nice as the Aphrodite outfit, which is a nice shade of pink, but it is still a good-looking one, too. Reference to one of the developers, I believe. And this, it's like 2 times damage, and then going up against one of the more difficult enemies you can fight, period, making them elite, and then trying to channel to get a blueprint off them. It was all a lot of very bad ideas there. I don't even know. Well, it worked out okay anyway. I hate shield bearers. But hey, at least this is the last outfit for now. I know that there's a couple like boss ones left, but you know, you don't really need to see me getting the boss ones. I beat the boss on a higher cell difficulty. That's about it. I mean, then we move right into lore. Yeah, I saw this tube all the way back in the morass, but I guess this is, you know, a bunch of water contaminated with the Malaise being moved around, pumped out into the morass is what's kind of caused the plants and the Banish to be very poor off. That's the only thing I can guess. And yes, this is a character that we've heard a little bit about in some of the previous lore areas, and when I first opened up the Arboretum. It's I guess he's like the guard of the bridge, and also sort of in a managerial role. One of the things I didn't really get to look at too much because I didn't see it initially was that there are some books on the wall there. He's been looking at stuff like bridge guarding and managing prisons. But I guess, you know, never actually see him in the game. The only person that's on the bridge right now is the concierge. And I suppose if you were guarding the bridge, you could be considered something of a concierge. Yeah, you see where I'm going with this. Too bad that we never actually got to meet the guy. There are a few different castle lore rooms that I haven't been able to see, but all I got here was the Resident Evil reference one. Ah, well, maybe I'll be able to see it at some point in the future. There's still a few more runs that I have to do, after all. And then finally, some more previews of the Cavern before you might have been able to get in there.